All right, so we're doing that, and then what we're going to do is over here. What I'm going to do is just go ahead and put the little spotlight on here. Okay, so what we talked about is the wall section actually was this wall down here. It actually was the basement wall as you go outside. And basically, we just did the wall section for the bottom right there. It actually run up to the top, but we just did kind of an abbreviated version of it, so you guys get the idea of it. So that's what we've been working on. So the last thing that you would typically have in a set of construction plans would actually be a site plan. A site plan would be actually what you would use. Make sure I hit these people. All right. Let's see here. All right. Sure, everyone's in here. Okay, I think everyone's in. Okay, just making sure everyone's here. All right, I think, okay, good. All right, Amber's coming in right now. That's good. All right, good to have you guys here. And those are just coming in right now. And today is October the 14th, 2021. We are in the fall the fall 2021 semester at Monroe Community College. And we are teaching tonight, we're going to be teaching about site plans. And site plans is going to be just a method for how I'd actually go about working with site plans and how they're different, what's different about those. So that's what we're going to be working on tonight. So let me just quickly get the attendance out of the way, make sure we're all set here, and then we will move on to the next thing. We will go through that. So let me see here. This is all, yeah, I do wish there was a way to sort these names, but there doesn't seem to be. So, oh, well, I'll just have to do this. Okay, so we have, let's go through these one at a time. So we've got, okay, you got Elijah, great. And we've got Jusandra. Antonio. Just a second, I'll be with you guys in a minute. So make sure I get this right. I want to give everyone credit for being here. Okay, looks like, okay, Nicholas Acker, are you there? Okay, so Rur Radi, can you hear me? And Andrew Summerlin. Okay, looks like, yeah, I'm just missing those three. Okay, not a problem. We're gonna go ahead and get started here. So anyway, what we worked on last week was the wall section. So what I did is I was working with AutoCAD last week, and we were working with this. And as we were working with it, we actually went through and we're working with wall sections. So by the way, I'm all caught up with, well, I was as of Monday or Tuesday. I actually went through and graded everything. So everything was pretty much graded unless something came in the last couple of days, in which case I would not have gotten to that yet. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to open up what we worked on last week, which should be probably right here on the desktop. And that would be right here, and probably something like this right here, wall section. Yeah. All right, yeah, it's right here. Yeah, this is what I pretty much did. I think that one's complete right there. Okay, yeah, so this is what we were working on last week, and this is what we're working on. This one's not complete, but this is what we did, and we saw there's a few things that we work on. And so we worked with this, and I gave you guys some startups as far as that goes. And so that is the wall section that we were working with. And what we're going to work on tonight is we are going to go ahead and we're going to forge into the next thing, which for some reason I'm not seeing. I should be seeing it, but I'm not. But what I want to actually work on tonight is going to be site work. Let's see here, site work. Yeah, all right, and you're gonna open that. All right, here's our site work, which is what we're gonna be working on tonight. Now, let's just do a little bit of discussion about this right here. So first of all, I'll go ahead and bring us through the discussion here. Going over here to, okay, let me go back to Blackboard here. So I'll just go and use this one right here. I'll just go right there, and I'll just go to MCC. And I will go out here to sign in. Okay. All right, so over here to Blackboard. And when you go to Blackboard, what we got going on right now is what's due when. And what we have is tonight, we had the drawing wall section. That was due tonight. Next week will be the drawing site plan. That will be due next week. And then we're going to have a couple weeks off. Well, at least next week, it's going to be more or less an introduction. So there will not be anything due necessarily the week out, next, well, the week after next. So we'll get to that, but we're going to be working on the drawing site plan. So drawing site plan. So right now, this means we're at week 8. Site plan is week 8. So when we talk about week 8, I've actually got some videos here that are from before. Those are actually good, except they reference something. I used to actually, when I teach this particular session in a class, very often Professor Holly would come in, and she would give a very informative background information about how technical drawing actually reflects something such as a site plan. So she would come and do that. But since we're doing this remotely, that's not something she's been doing. So anyway, I did want to show you this. There's a site tutorial handbook. Now this right here, or handout, I guess is what I called it. So there's this handout, and what I've got here is, if I go ahead and save this, what I've got going on is this is actually a PDF that actually is, it's pretty old, but it's drawing site plans, and it kind of goes over some basic stuff here. So just take a look at my screen. I'm going to go over this just kind of briefly to show you what's going right here. But a site plan, what it does, it specifies the location configuration of a site, meaning where a particular a structure is going to rest, typically is what that's all about. And it's going to have things such as, property lines. It's going to have contours. It's going to have topographical lines. It's going to have measurements and so forth. And it's quite different than what we've been used to so far. So that's what we're looking at right now. So what we're going to be doing as we get into this right now, we're going to be using some basic terminology, okay? Like for instance, with drawing property lines right here, drawing property lines. When you draw property lines, they are what identify the site boundaries. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you right here. This is what I mean. These dashed white lines, like these right here around the perimeter right here, those right there, all of those, I'll go ahead and select similar. Go ahead and select those actually make up the perimeter. They basically make up the property line right there. And you can see that there's actually a house plan, which should look very familiar to you because that's floor plan 1. That is what we did earlier. And what we did is we took floor plan 1 and we put it on the site plan just to see how to situate those. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight. We're going to take a house and we're going to situate it on the site plan. So that's what we're going to do. And that is how that works. So I've got it all set up for you guys to work with. I've got a template all set up. So you guys are good to go. You'll notice there's some trees, there's some other things right here. So this is what you got. You start typically with these. Now, as you're drawing this, we're going to start from the lower right corner and go this way. Now, when you get into doing this kind of thing, let me just kind of talk for a minute about how this actually works, because your measurements here are different, okay? You've got 48.92 feet. Now, why would we have it in decimals? Well, the reason why is when you're working with civil type plans or surveying, this is what you'll do. You'll basically be putting down distances basically in this kind of a terminology. You won't be using fractions. You'll be using feet and then fractions of feet. So those are fractional feet. So that means 48.92 feet, just shy of 49 feet is what that is. And it goes into decimals. This is typically how dimensions are fashioned when you are working with civil or surveying type plans. So let me stop for a second here. Is anyone familiar with that? Is that something any of you guys have seen before?
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it. So this is my first time seeing it.
Okay.
You mean like survey plans?
Yeah.
Yeah, I took survey with Holly. I know what these are.
That's what we're talking about here. Okay, good. Well, then that's a good thing. Well, let me just kind of decode this a little bit more for those that might not be quite so familiar, because I realize there's quite a bit going on here. Now, up here, you got this dimension, 48.92 feet. So it's almost 50 feet. And then it's got this up here. Now, does anyone want to hazard, if no one knows, that's okay. Does anyone want to explain what this means right here?
Aren't those coordinates?
Those are coordinates, exactly. What does the N stand for?
North.
Exactly. And in plans, typically north is going to be straight up. Okay. For our purposes, for what we're working on, north is going to be straight up. That's typically how it works. Now, so what you got here, it says north 17D. Well, what that means is north 17 degrees. Okay. 17 degrees.
30 feet, 90
30, yeah, and then it says 30 minutes. Actually, that 30 feet, that's actually not it's a single quote, but when you're putting in angles in this kind of arrangement, that actually means, it basically means minutes and seconds. And what those are is the entire compass is divided up into 360 degrees. Okay. And then from there, you'll actually have 60 degrees for your minutes and then 60 degrees for seconds. So it's a 60 by 60 by 60. So basically the ability to actually drill into what the angles are, and this is very precise. So that's what's going on right there. So the 30 here, this actually means 30 minutes and 9 seconds. Okay. And what that's basically saying is this is essentially 17 degrees off of straight north, 17 degrees off of straight north. And it's 30 degrees and 9 seconds off. That's what that is. In other words, it's 30 degrees, 30 minutes, 9 seconds to the west. So it's a northwest direction. That's that saying right there. So you got north at the front and you got west at the back. And then these, and you don't necessarily have to figure out, you don't need to have to understand all this. You just have to understand, oh, it's taking it. It's not a straight north. Therefore, the numbers are actually giving me the calculation of coordinates saying how far off that is, so you can get a perfect reckoning. So that if somebody goes out there onto the property and needs to measure it out, they'll actually put a stake in. Typically, they'll look for some kind of a landmark, and very often, or something that's actually been set in the ground. Back in Michigan, they had a thing called the SCIR, which is set capped iron rod. And what you'll have is a set capped iron rod that's actually been embedded into the earth. And then what you'll do is you'll actually go out and try to find that. And then once you find that, you're able to reckon from there. That is your origin point. That's how that works. That's a real thing. So there are actually embedded different markers. There's embedded different kinds of monuments actually in the earth, and you actually measure to those. You guys, does that ring a bell for some of you guys?
Yeah, I had to do that when I installed a fence. I had to go find it and mark it out.
Were you able to find it?
Yeah, my neighbor helped me at least get to the right area. Then I got a metal detector and went the rest of the way.
There you go. Metal detectors are great. I actually bought one at Harbor Freight. I'd lost my keys, and it was actually 2 winters ago. And I was out there with my snowblower. I got a Toro snowblower. I've got this beast of a Toro snowblower, like a 1970s era snowblower, big red beast. I mean, it weighs just a ridiculous amount. Anyway, but it's got guts. And so I just had it repaired yesterday. But anyway, I was out there and I'm throwing snow, and this thing has a lot of strength. So unbeknownst to me, I was out there snowblowing and I heard some noise and I didn't really think twice about it. Well, then later on, I couldn't find my keys. I think that noise I heard was my keys getting chewed up by the snowblower and throwing them. So I was like, oh no. And I had, and one of them was actually one of those really, really expensive keys that actually, it's got the remote on and so forth. It costs like, I don't know, $200 or $300 to replace them. Anyway, so I was like, oh, this is no good. So I went out and I went to Harbor Freight and I bought a metal detector. And I thought, well, what the heck? It was like $20 or something, maybe 30, I don't know, something like that. But I said it's worth it. So I went out there and I've tested it and I saw, okay, it definitely works. So then there's a sensitivity thing on it. So I was looking around and I finally found it. And I went out there and actually was able to use the metal detector and to find my key. So I found one of my keys. So I found that, then I found another one. And then I was looking around, I couldn't find the other one. So after a couple of days, the snow melted, I was able to find all of them. So I found all my keys. So the metal detector from Harbor Freight did the trick, really did the trick. But here's the point. You use the metal detector. You use the metal detector to find that set capped iron rod. And those things have been set into the earth as landmarks, as essentially an immovable point to which you can always refer. And therefore, legally, that is how land is reckoned. That's how taxes are levied. That is how people pay for square footage and square acreage. That's very important stuff. So you got to find the actual origins. Okay, so that's very important. So therefore, when you are drawing out surveying type information, that's why surveying is such a skill, because you got to get it right. It can't be close. It's got to be dead on. If you're going to be setting something into the ground, a stake or whatever else, it's got to be dead on so that the particular item is actually placed where it's supposed to, because very often there are systems in the ground, such as water lines, there's gas lines, there's all kinds of things that are out there. There's easements. There's a lot of things out there that can really, really make life difficult if you're in the wrong spot digging. So yeah, so that's why it's really important. You can kind of imagine how bad it gets, if you wind up in the wrong place. Things can go sideways really quickly. So that's how that works. Any comments about that before I proceed? I realize some of you guys have quite a bit of knowledge on this. Anyone else want to weigh in with anything else about that?
So if the,
Sorry,
sorry, go ahead.
go ahead. I never drew a site plan. I just used it like a base for construction house or something like. But I never drew. Just I received it from professional that have a specific machine to measure the plan.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit there, Jason. I'm having a tough time hearing you. If you want to if you could maybe text that to me, because I was not clear about what you were saying right there, so I apologize. Trying to hear, but I was not real clear on that. I was having some issues with that kind of breaking up, so I apologize. If you could maybe try that again, that'd be great.
No, the internet is bad now.
Still a little bit, it's still, at least on my end, it's a little bit sketchy. Anyone else having that same issue?
Yeah, it's the same for me. I'm trying to hear her, but I didn't hardly hear.
The delay.
Yeah,
But, okay, no problem.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Sorry.
all right.
So what would stop someone from moving one of these metal markers in the ground?
Fear of the law.
So it's a law to not relocate these?
Oh yeah. Oh gosh. If you move something like that, it is like, because think about this here. Let me tell you something here that maybe you never thought of. Those of you who have been on this planet less than I have, here's the deal. Okay, I own my house free and clear. I paid for it. Okay, I don't owe a penny. I basically paid this whole house off. I don't owe any mortgage. I paid for it. I've got this. Do I own it? Kind of.
Only as long as you pay your taxes.
As long as I pay my taxes. So it's a permanent rental situation. Think about that for a second. I really don't own anything. As soon as I stop paying my taxes, they can come in and take it away from me. I'm not making this up. If I decide to stop paying my taxes, they can come in and kick me out and take it and foreclose on it. And so really what it comes down to is the government is allowing me to stay here for a certain fee, for a certain fee. And I don't want to make it sound too bad, but that's kind of how this is. That's kind of how the whole thing's set up. And it's really quite amazing. If you don't believe it's true, just get on the wrong side of the law. I've been a business owner now in the state of New York for 16 years. My business is 22 years old. I bought it from a friend after we started it. So I've been, my business has been going for 2 millennia. Anyway, not really, but we straddle that. We started in 1999, so we actually have 2 millennia worth of experience, on our side. But anyway, here's the thing. One thing is, if you get on the wrong side of New York State, they're pretty brutal. They will come after you as an employer, and they will basically, you'll just get this mail that says, okay, you owe us $50,000 because of X violation. And say, wait, what did I do? What did I do? But no, you didn't send in form XYZKQR by such and such a date that you should have known you're supposed to do. And I don't know. And so it's like you don't know this. And so they basically send you this threatening thing saying, pay up this $50,000 because you didn't fill out the paperwork correctly. And it's like, oh, that's kind of sudden, can't we talk a little bit about this? So I will say this, to their credit, when you get someone on the phone, they're very good. I mean, they understand what's going on and so forth for the most part. I'll tell you what, I don't know if any of you guys have tried to get a hold of the people over in unemployment insurance right now, but good night. It's just about impossible to get anybody on the phone. Has anybody tried to wrangle with the people over in the unemployment division? None of you. You've all stayed employed. That's a good thing. Huh?
I've never been fired. Any job that I left, I quit for certain reasons.
Okay, it's good. Yeah, I've never been fired either. I've only resigned positions. I have never been fired. That's me. But some people quit. And here's one crazy thing too. I've had employees that have quit on me. They said, "Hey, I'm done. I don't want to be here anymore." They got unemployment. I don't know if you knew that, but they got unemployment. I fired people for cause. I fired people because they weren't doing their job. They weren't coming into work, and I fired them for that. They got unemployment. Unemployment, pretty hard not to get. And the thing is, I was kind of shocked at how many people got unemployment who really kind of shouldn't, because they either left of their own volition, or they were fired for a good reason and so forth. But anyway, that's how New York rolls. That's okay. Anyway, I'm philosophizing, but no, the thing that would stop you from moving a set-cap iron rod is if you did that and they found out that it was you. That's actually, I don't know if it's a felony, probably is though, because you're trying
Seems
to,
like it.
yeah, I think it probably would be a felony. And the thing is, because the government kind of owns all the land at the end of the day. Because if you stop paying, guess who gets it? I guess that's what you got to look at. If you stop paying, who gets it? That's who owns it. And that's really how that works. So when you get into our discussion now about putting in these property lines and so forth, the legality is actually really, really something that goes right along with it. That's why whenever you buy a house, have any of you ever bought a house? Anyone out there? Has anyone gone in and bought a house and got a mortgage and everything?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anyone else?
Yep, done it.
Okay. If you've ever bought a house, I have bought in my life 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 6 different properties in my life. And the thing is, and when you do, they basically have a stack of papers like this, and you got to sit down and sign your life away, with all these kinds of things, and it's got to be notarized and all these, there's a lot that goes along with it. There's a lot of legality with it. And because there's ownership, there's a lot of things that go into that. So therefore, it is extremely critical that the property be designated, be described, and be accurately laid out so you know what you're buying. Okay, that's law, that you have to do that. And falsifying those would be illegal, possibly a felony. So that's why you wouldn't want to falsify it. Could you cheat that a little bit? It would be possible. I guess you could go in there and first of all, they're usually embedded in concrete, so it'd be kind of a pain to be a thing. And unless it was out in the middle of nowhere, I mean, if you try to do it in the subdivision, people would know pretty quickly, at least they would in our neighborhood, something's going on. But if you're out in the middle of nowhere and you did it, it could be a bit of a production. But the thing is, if you ever got caught, life could be pretty unpleasant, and they will find you out. They will find you out. There's a whole Google Earth thing and all that. And so anyway, they find it sooner or later. Anyway, but if you move it, that would be something that I don't even know what the ramifications would be, but I know that there would be a correction for sure, and they'd be looking for somebody who was responsible for sure. But does that make sense, Kate?
Yeah, I just never even knew that these stakes were in the ground.
Yeah, they are. They are. And the thing is, in different states and different municipalities use different kinds of things. But what you'll notice very often is when you see new construction going on, you'll always see you'll see stakes. At least you'll see stakes actually pounded out with typically with some string on it and some kind of marker. Typically, that's what they do, is they mark it out that way, and they measure it out with the survey with the surveyor's transit scope, and they actually set everything up, and so therefore everything is legally placed where it should be, and then legally that is where it is. So that's how that works right there. So yeah, well, good. Glad I was able to kind of like tell you guys something interesting, but that's how that works. And so anyway, so we're going to see right now is how this works and how you would read something like this and how you put the notation in a drawing. Now, if you're using one of the other applications such as AutoCAD Civil 3D, which you probably would do, you would probably use AutoCAD Civil 3D or something else, because AutoCAD Civil 3D is a package that is actually designed specifically for civil type work. Well, that's something that you would do, and that would be something that you would actually benefit from by having. But with straight AutoCAD, you can do the same thing. You just go through a different process. So we're going to go straight AutoCAD and see how this works. So take a look at this. Now we understand we got a property line. The property line is actually designated by this kind of dot dash type of line type. So we've got that going on. And then I have this, which is 48.92 feet, and then there's a direction right there. And I made it look like this, which is you got the north in front, and then you got the west behind. By the way, Andrew, I see you. Welcome. Good to have you here. And so you got that going on. So then once you got the first one, you're going here, and then you're going up. Now here, you'll notice this one's 61.85 feet, and this is north. It's only 2 degrees off, and then it's 30 minutes, 57 seconds to the east. So it kind of goes off that way. So it gives a slight little cantilever over. Then over here, oh, did I miss this dimension? Oh gosh, did I miss that dimension? I think I did, which means I'm going to give that to you guys. Yeah, I'm going to have to put that in there real quickly. Okay, let me do this.
It's on Blackboard though.
Are you talking about like the dimension on the top? Because I printed it out and it does show it there.
It does. Okay, that's fine. Okay, with this one, what happened is I must have saved this. Yeah. Okay. I know I send those links to you guys anyway. So if you use the wrong one, it's not a problem. I get it. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So yes, I don't have it here, but that's okay. I'll just go ahead and work through this one, and we'll make this one work. I've got this information, and looks like you guys have that too. So that is good. I am not sure where the other information went. But it's not there, is it? Okay, well, that's okay. We can find something here. Let me see if I've got another one that's out here. If I start, it's not there. Let's try another one here. I think I had another one that was Sitework Master. Maybe not. Oh well, we'll just keep on continuing. Okay, so you get the idea. So as you go along with this one, actually, I'll go ahead and put this in here while I'm working on this, just because I can. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. So I'm going to copy this notation right here. I'll show you how this works right here. Copy this, and I'm going to grab it and bring it over here. So I got that. Now the dimension for this one is actually supposed to be. It's actually got it like this, and this dimension goes something like this. It's supposed to be north 85D. So I'm going to say north. And that's going to be 85 and a lowercase d, 36 minutes, 24 seconds. So 36 minutes, 24 seconds. Okay, 24 seconds like that. And then this dimension should actually be, it was 86.19 feet right there. So let's go ahead and go delete that.
Is that time for the estimated time it will take you to get from one point to the other?
No, it's not. Minutes and seconds are actually different. They're actually angular. They actually are measuring out angles. And why it's minutes and seconds, it's basically probably from the sundial, honestly, is what it's from. It probably goes back. You guys know what I mean about a sundial? You guys have heard of a sundial?
Yeah, I remember using it in survey class.
Okay.
The calculating the minutes and the seconds sucked.
Yeah, it's not a lot of fun. And so essentially what's happening though is the angles, the 360 degrees, because a circle, let's do a little bit of geometry here. A circle is divided up into 360 degrees. Why? I don't know. That's just how it is. I just accept it, okay? And essentially it's divided up into 4 quarters. Each one is 90 degrees. That's kind of how that works. And then from there, the minutes and the seconds actually describe the increments of angle that are inside of there. So they're very small increments that actually measure it. And that's how that would work. And I believe the minutes and seconds probably come from the sundial, when you actually would have a sundial and actually measured out that way. That's my guess. And I don't know for sure. That's probably something some of you guys could weigh in on since you're taking Holly's class. So am I on the mark, or am I kind of missing it?
You're pretty much there.
Okay, all right.
Using the minute and seconds is like, you will use like the thing that you're looking through, I'm forgetting what it's called. And there's like a bunch of numbers below, like the scope you're looking at.
Yeah.
And you calculate through all the numbers that you see, and that give you your minutes and seconds.
Okay, very good. Well then, yeah, so that is how you do this. And so what we're going to do right now for our purposes, we're just going to do this kind of thing. Now, here's the thing. Now you notice this is on a kind of a kooky angle. So let me show you just kind of a quick thing you can do with AutoCAD at any time. If I click on this, the grip shows up. You know, we've talked about this before. You click on something, the grip shows up. And then you could actually go into the properties and adjust it. So I'm going to right click my mouse. When I right click my mouse, properties is down here. The other way you can do this is press Control-1. It does the same thing. Control-1 opens your properties. When you open your properties, it's like you're going under the hood in AutoCAD. And now I've got this thing right here. So let's just take a little look here. Let me show you something interesting here. So I've got this. Here's the contents. In other words, that's the text. I go down a little bit further. Now notice what the rotation is here. 87D 2131. Well, okay, what's that all mean? So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go ahead and make it 0. Make it 0. Watch it as I make it 0. Boom, it makes it totally straight. Kind of cool. So when you use 0, it just basically gets rid of any kind of rotation. So then at that point, you are good to go. So then I can just click on this and pull it down to where I want it to be. And it still might not be right, but I'm going to fix it. So I'm going to pull over here just a little. I'll leave it right here. Why not? Okay, now watch this. It's still not quite rotated right, but let's show you a little trick here. If I click on it, and if I click on this grip, I'm now into, I can then go ahead and choose rotate while I'm on here, and I can rotate it. And then when I get my, get it basically aligned with this property line, I click. Oh, I missed it. So I'll try that again. Click here, and I'll go ahead and go rotate. Okay, now at this point, I want to pick a point somewhere along this line here. I'm not finding it, so I'll show you a quick thing. If I want, I could maybe touch this and pull it along here. Maybe not. Okay, so I'm going to hold my shift key down and then right mouse click. When you hold your shift key down and right mouse click, this little menu comes up, and I can then go to nearest. And when I go to nearest, I can go ahead and go there. I can drop it. I can go ahead and click anywhere on the line. And then it's perfectly aligned. So you've got that. All right, so I've got that. Now I'm going to go ahead and put these others in place because now I'm on a roll. So I'll go ahead and copy that again. So I'll copy this one over just so I have it. I don't know what happened to the other one, but that's okay. We're going to do this. Now this one over here on this side, that one has got to be 96.09 feet. So 96.09 feet, 96.09 feet. And I've got this notation, which is going to be south 8. Oh, I want to make sure it's capitalized. South 8. And get rid of that D. And then 22 minutes. And 20 minutes and 5 seconds. And that's the east. So we're going to go there. So I've got that. Now, once I've got that, I just need to rotate it around because it's going in the wrong direction. So I'll go ahead and do that. Right click, rotate. Boom, like that. And I'll just go ahead and take it and kind of move over here. So close we are. So we're kind of like this. Go ahead and drop it right there. Right now, at this point, not right where I want it to be. So I'll go ahead and move over a bit. Doesn't want to move. So I'll just do this. Okay. And then I'll go ahead and take it and drag it over to here. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm not going to bother changing that one. We're good to go there. And then I just got one more. So I'll copy this one over here. So I'll copy this one. That's going to be that on the top, that on the bottom. Go. So I'll copy this again one more time. Copy this. And okay. And what I'm finding right here, by the way, what I'm working with, just that we're all clear and we're all clear about what's he doing? You know, just guys are clear what I'm doing here. I'll just go here and I'm going to go ahead and going to open up my Sitework master, which is this one. So what I'm doing right here is I'm putting these numbers here. This is what I'm doing right now. So I just did this one. I'm now doing this one. This is going to be 65.04 feet and S67D 22 feet, 56 inches. I'm going to do that. So that's right down here. So I'll double click on this and that's going to be 65.04. 5.04, that. And then down here, this is going to be S67D. S67D. S67D, 22 minutes, 56 seconds east, like that. Oh, and we got that. Okay, so it goes like that, boom. And then what I'd do is I'd go ahead and just move it onto here and then I'd rotate it as needed. So go ahead and place it there. And then I'll go ahead and click on that and I can rotate. I can just use my rotate, rotate, click on this, boom. Base points, get right there. There we are. And that is how we would go ahead and put that in. So now I've got all those in place. So we're good to go. I'm going to save that. Boom. and we're good to go. So now that I've got those in place, how do I make this? Okay, well, now that I've got that in place, this is how we'd start it. First thing I would do is I would download the template, because I always provide a template. And so with the template right here, I'd go out here, and if you want some background information, it's right out here. It's called the handout for this particular week. And you've got this site plan tutorial handout. You don't have to use it because I've updated it, but you go ahead and you download the template just like we always do. So you download the template, you're right there. It's going to download that. And the other thing I was going to show you is this is the PDF. This is the site plan. This is the finish right there. So you go ahead and take that, you print it out, and you use this. That's what you're going to use. Okay. So I'm going to show you how to do this now. So now that we've done that, I'm going to start a new drawing. So I'll go up here and go to new, and this is the new icon right here. So click on new. And once I go to new, I'm going to go to my downloads. I'm going to go to find this site master plan, and boom, I go ahead and jump into here, and we are good to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this right here. I'll go ahead and close out of this, and I'm going to go ahead and start my line command. So my line command, I'm going to start somewhere down here. I'm going to go ahead and type in exactly what we see there, which is going to be 48.92 feet. Okay, now again, to be clear what I'm going, where I'm going here, so you guys are clear. I'm putting this in 48.92 feet. And you'll notice there's a foot symbol right there, 48.92 feet. And then I'm going to type in the less than symbol and type in this notation. Now, since this template has been set up with engineering units right here, I can put this in like we're going to do right now. So I typed in, did I type that in yet? I don't think I did. So 48.92 feet less than. And the less than is the less than. It's like I hold the shift key down and I press the comma, which also is that. And now I have to put in the distance, which is going to be N17D, 30 feet, 30 minutes, 9 seconds, 9 seconds west, like that. So I go ahead and hit my enter key, boom, and I got that. That is what it looks like. That is, and you kind of compare it with what is on the plan. It's like, yeah, okay, that's pretty good. So I've got that. Now the next one I've got here is going to be the next one going up here. Okay, and this is the primary tricky part right here. This one's going up 61.85 feet, and north 2 degrees, 30 minutes, 57 seconds east. All right, so I'm going to put that in. So I just typed this in. So notice what I do, 61.85 feet less than. So I type my less than. When I type my less than, it lets me put an angle. You see the less than, you can see right there, it's a red little mark there. I'm going to type in the N2D. So N2D, 30 minutes, 57 seconds east. Boom, and there it is. Okay, so we're looking pretty good here. So as I take a look at this, I can see, I'm going to check it for accuracy. It's like, so it's boom, boom, gives me a little bit of a slight angle there. So we're looking pretty good there. Okay, so that's what we do there. Now this next one, just to show you where this one is. Okay, this next one is over here. Now this one is actually 86.19 feet, and it's north 85 degrees, 36 minutes, 24 seconds west. I'm going to put that in. Okay, and all this is right there. So I'm going to put this one in this, and I'm going to type in 86.18 feet, 86.19 feet less than N85D, N85D. 36 minutes, 24 seconds west. Boom. And there it is. Okay. So we're looking good. Okay. So it's making sense. And so I got this. So I just did this. So I did 1, 2, 3. Now it's this one. This is 96.09 feet south, 8 degrees, 22 minutes, 5 seconds east. So I go ahead and put that in there. So this one is going to be 96.09 feet less than south 8 degrees, the D, 22 feet, 20 minutes, 5 seconds east. There we are. Okay, so it's coming along here. Okay, next one. Okay, now this one right down here is 65.04 feet south, 67 degrees, 22 minutes, 56 seconds east. So I'll go ahead and do this one. So this one will be 65.04 feet less than S67D, 22 minutes, 56 seconds east. Boom. And it goes ahead and brings me right to there. And then I'm going to stop. gonna stop right there. That should be about right. That should be correct. Let's see how we did there. Is that one right? Let me make sure I did that one right. I might be a little too tight. Let me try that again. All right, that one might be. Let's see what we got there. Okay, let me try this. Make sure I typed it in right. One thing you can do here is if you need to check it, you can do this kind of a thing, which I'm doing right now, which I typed in S67D, 22 minutes, 56. No, that should be right. Okay, so we got that. Okay, so got that in place. So now that I've done that, the last little line that I'm going to draw, I will actually draw using an arc, okay, because there is an arc at the very end. Now, this is a little bit different, but I'm going to use start and radius, and it's got a radius of 40 feet. You can see right there. So I start at the right, go to the left to put that radius in. So let's see if I can't make this happen. So arc, and I want to use start and radius. Start and radius. So I start here, and here. Type in a radius of 40 feet, boom. And it looks like that, which should be pretty darn close to what we have right there. And yeah, that's it. That's what it should look like. Okay, so now that we did that, we're pretty good. Now I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it as Sitework Brennan. So Sitework Brennan, whatever. 2021 tutorial.
Professor?
Yeah.
So I was following along with you. I don't know if this happened to anyone else, but when I put in the left side 96-foot measurement, I've tried it 3 times now and it keeps going north instead of south.
Yeah. Okay. Now, when you're doing that, just make sure you're doing this. When you're starting and you're at this point right here, you're coming from here right now, you want to make sure you do it in this way, which is you're going to type in 96.09 feet and then less than. Make sure you put in the less than, not the tab key.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, if you're using tab, it's not, it doesn't translate the same way. Okay. So that's something that I've run into every time I've taught this. So that's why I have you doing it this way. Plus, there's another reason why I had you do it this way too, which I will, yeah, there's all,
Yes.
yeah, question?
How can I insert the engineering option, the measure? Because I didn't have in my bar.
Okay. Well, you got to download the template, and when you download the template, it's going to start off with engineering units, just like that.
Well, I get the template, I think 10 minutes before the class. But it didn't have with the engineering bar.
Yeah.
I will upload again.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Well, when I teach these classes, I don't expect you guys to keep up. There's no way I'm going to have 20 people be able to keep up with me. So that's why I'm making a video. So if you can, that's great. But
did you put the templates? What time did you put the templates in website?
yeah, you're breaking up. I had a tough time hearing you. Well, but we'll maybe we can talk on the break or something. But what we're going to do,
Okay.
we're going to go a little bit further here. Okay, now at this point, what we got going on besides this is we have these purple lines. Who knows what these, well, it says what they are. Purple lines are setbacks. Okay, typically what happens is a setback is going to be the legal parameters that have to be followed when you're building something. What does that mean? Well, it means that you can't build a house right up to the edge of your property. You guys know that? You can't build a house right up to the edge of your property. Anyone know that?
Yeah, my neighbor knows that.
All right. Well, why do they know that?
Well, I guess at one point they got an approval from Brighton to build their garage up to the property line. So now they don't have basically clearance to have any space around the side. So the neighbor next door wants to move their fence and they won't have room to like even get their lawnmower to their backyard or anything.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes along with it. Typically, in most municipalities, there's typically like at least a a 6 foot, you're supposed to leave like a 6 foot distance between the property line and your fence. It varies from municipality to municipality. Sometimes it's 2 feet, whatever, but sometimes as much as 6, sometimes it's less, but that's right around what you have there. And so that being the case, you basically, now that's for a fence. The structure is something totally different. You typically can't crowd the actual space. So therefore, there are setbacks, and these are basically declared by municipalities, and that then gives you the area that you can actually use for building. Now, so anyway, so what I got here is, you'll notice I got here a 10-foot setback here. This is a 10-foot setback, this magenta line here. This is a 10-foot setback. So my side, my right and left sides are a 10-foot setback. All right, so I'm going to do those first of all. So to do that, I'm going to use my offset command. So to do this, I'm going to change my current layer down here to C setback. It stands for civil setback. Now, when I use my offset command, I'll go to offset right here, and it asks you for the offset distance. But before I get into that, just to show myself, just to make life a little bit easier for myself, I'm going to show you something interesting about the offset command. When you're using the offset command, there's several different cool things you can do that are time savers. One is this: I can actually change the layer, so it actually will use the current layer. So it's not going to offset the white line, it's going to basically use my current line, which is the C setback layer, so this will be magenta. So I use current, and now I'm going to type in the distance, which is 10 feet, boom. Now at this point, I can just go ahead and click on this and pull it over this way. And at this point, what I'm doing is I'm doing that. So what that does right there is that actually gives me my 10-foot offsets right there. So I've got that. So I got my 10-foot offsets, which we have right there. So I went ahead and did that. And then I've got right here, that's a 10-foot setback. This is a 15-foot setback right here. So 15 foot from the rear. So I'll go ahead and do a 15-foot setback from the back. So I'll go here and use offset again and 15 feet. And I'll go ahead and offset this one here like that. So we got that. So this is doing this kind of nicely. And then you're going to notice that the arc in front, that's a 25-foot setback, 25-foot setback from the front, which is from the road, probably just so that, you're not crowding the front, the front. And so you're basically giving some room. So you could build the house 25 feet, but no closer. So 25 feet is this actual arc. So that's what that is. So I'm going to go ahead and going to use my offset command again. So I'll go here, click on this. I'm going to type in 25 feet. So that's 25 feet. So I've got that. Now at that point, I could just use my extend command, and I could extend this over to here, just so that it makes some sense. Just basically these, you may just use a fillet these, if I can do that. I don't know if I can or not. Yeah, there we go. So we got that. So what I've got right there, that is the legal limits. That is the legal limits, the container that I could actually put my structure. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yes.
Okay, one more thing and then we'll take a break. Over here, this right here, this is a 7.5-foot setback. This is an easement right here. That's a 7'5", which, well, 7'6". It's 7.5 feet, which is 7 feet, 7 feet 6 inches. So 7.5. So that's just what that is. So 7.5 feet. So I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to offset this last one. 7.5 feet. 7.5 feet. If you're going to use this, make sure you type in feet. You got to do that. So 7.5 feet will work. Boom. And I'll click here. Whoop, and put in inches. I'll try that again. Offset. 7.5 feet. Let me do that. Oh, I'm putting inches. That's why. Jeez. Okay. It's doing what I'm telling it to. Okay. Stupid thing. Why can't it read my mind? Okay. And then we'll go ahead and do this. And go ahead and do here. Like that. And then I'll just fillet those. Bada boom, bada bing. And we got that. Okay. And we're going to save it and we'll come back to this. Okay. So let's go ahead and take till, let's take 7, let's go ahead and take, let's take till 7, let's take 7 minutes. We'll go ahead and we'll take a break. We'll come back at 7:07. We'll continue, but that's it. So I'm just going to mute my mouse. I'll see you in 7 minutes. Mute my mouse, mute my microphone. You know what I mean? Okay, welcome back, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, forging ahead here. We're going to move on. Now, next thing we got to do is we are actually going to work on doing the, there are the actual dots at the corners. Okay, essentially those would be right up here. These would be, oh gosh, let's see here. The, let's see if I've got this kind of worked out here someplace. Let's see here. I think I do. Let me go ahead and grab that real quickly. Here we are. Okay, and so what we're looking at right now is we go through this right now, and as we kind of put this together here, you've got the corners actually, and so we talked about the bearings, how those work. And if you're interested in more information, like I said, this goes into quite a bit of detail here. All right, yeah, it says the units that we're talking about, which are minutes and seconds, these units of angular measure are very accurate. There are 360 degrees in complete revolution, 60 minutes in each degree, and 60 seconds in each minute. So it's just really, really tiny. So those are surveyor's units. We've got that. And then you go ahead and draw the property lines. We've seen that. And then let's see here. And then actually, as far as that goes, then you also have at the intersections, you've got labeling the property lines. We actually did the offsets. We did those. And then we have the, let's see here. Let's see, it talks about, he gives a few different things here. Using layer option, I've seen multiple times, also setbacks. Let's see here. Let's see, place and structure. Yeah, okay, that doesn't really tell you what those are. Okay, so those are actual, yes, okay, the elevations right here. These elevation markers right here, you've got those, and okay, the symbol maybe small dot. Okay, elevations, and at the corners, okay, corner contour lines identify points of equal elevation on the site. Many contour lines have a heavier line weight. Symbol maybe a small dot, cross from X. Site plans normally include elevations. Okay. So we've got that right there. So as we go into this right here, as we start to continue with this right now, we got this. And so I'm going to go ahead and put these in the corner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over here to my C property line. And I'm going to make what's called the donut. Yes, there actually is a donut command in AutoCAD. I think I've told you about that before. I did. So we're going to use the donut here. It's the donut. And what we're going to use is the inside diameter is going to be 0. And the outside diameter is going to be 2 feet or 24 inches. So we'll do that. When I've got this, I'll go ahead and knock it right there. And I go ahead and continue to put in my my corner markers like this right here. And those are actual elevation markers right there. So we have that right there. So we got that in place. And so now we've added those. So those are some things we have those. And again, those are donuts. So I've got those. So now at this point, I've got a good amount of data. And here, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show how to actually put in the text. I already did this once before, but I'll go ahead and do it again. What I would do over here is I'm going to go ahead and show you a little trick here. Now, so you don't have to go through and type in all these things again. You could just do this and go to F2. When you go to F2, this actually allows us to go back and to see what we typed in earlier. Okay, so if I go back to the very first item that I put in here right here, which is my 48.92 feet right here, you notice that it says this 48.92 feet. And it's got this information here. So if I go ahead and click and I go ahead and grab all this right here, I can grab that whole thing. And I just went ahead and selected it. So to select it, I could use Control C, or I can go to Edit and go to Copy and go ahead and copy that. Now, once I got that copied, I'll just go ahead and close that out temporarily. And I'll go ahead and I want to put in some text on the, let me get this out of here. On the, C, come on, get out of there. Okay, on the, come on, C prop text layer. So I'm going to do this. Okay, so I'm going to do it on this layer. And I'm going to go ahead and go to my text right here. So go to text, multi-line text. I'm going to pick 2 points like this. I go ahead and drop this information in there. So Control V. All right. And it says this. And what this has to be is actually at this point right there, that goes there. And then I could go ahead and do this. And we've got this going on right here. So I've got that happening. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to copy it down underneath like this. Control V, so I've got that. So I got this. I'm going to put this in lowercase, this one right here, D. And that is how it looks. Now, the last thing I want to do is I want to highlight this, and I'm going to go to my justification here and make it middle center. Now, when I do that, it just makes it easier to work with it. Now, at this point, I can place it. Okay, it's in place right there. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take it. I'm going to move it onto the line right there. So I'm going to take this, click on this, and I'm going to go ahead and go ahead and pick a base point there. Go ahead and pull it over here and drop it. I'll go ahead and just drop it on this center line right there. And we can do that. Now, to rotate it, I just go here to rotate. Go to rotate, click on this. Okay, and then at that point, base point's there. And then go ahead and take this and rotate it like this. And again, I'm going to use the shift right mouse click to use nearest. Then go ahead and pick somewhere right along here. I do that, and that is like perfectly right along there. And so that's good. So now that I've done that, I get that and move it up or down the line to get it out of the way of this if that's a problem. So I can just hold, select it, use my control key. Like that. Okay, so we got that. And that is how we go ahead and place that. I'll do one more, just so you guys are clear about it. Now, the next one, I go to my F2 again, hit my F2 key. I'll go ahead and scroll up here. And the next one is actually up here. And it's like this right here. So go ahead and go here. And okay, and that looks like this right here. So I'm gonna go here and get rid of that. Do this and make this into a D, lowercase d right there. And so you gotta do a little bit of editing, but it's better than having to type the whole thing all over again. Lowercase d there, we got that. And we are good to go. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to move it. Move this, click here, move it. And place it somewhere right along here. Then I'm gonna rotate it. So rotate it. Mm-hmm. Pretty much like that. Okay. So at that point, that is how we put those in there. So that is how we could do that. You could just type them all in too. That'll work as well. So anyway, so we got that going on here. So now that we got that, that's how we put those in there. And so when you're done, they'll look like that. You'll put them all in like that. And that's what you're going to have right there. Now, the next thing that we want to look at now is going to be the contour lines. You got a bunch of contour lines here. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the contour lines along here. And the contour lines can be done a few different ways, but what we're going to do, we're just going to do kind of a simple spline. So we're going to go here and use C existing grade. Okay. And the existing grade is what you would use for contour line. And I'm going to go down here to draw. In a couple different points you can use. You can actually use right here spline fit, or you can use spline CV, and that allows you to have control vertices. So I'm going to use this one, spline CV. So watch how this works. I'm going to click here. And the first one that I have is going to be kind of right off here a little bit. I'm going to go and pick a point somewhere along this line if I can. And if it'll let me show you got my these set up the way they should be. Yep, looks like we do. Okay, so we're going to go there. So I'm going to go ahead and pick a point here. And let's see, I'll go to my spline again. And try to pick a point somewhere right along down here. Right. Okay, let me try this without hiding snaps. Let me try this. Try that. Let's get nearest around here. Use nearest, pick a point. So at this point, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm just going to use spline CV. I'm going to use nearest. And I'll pick it somewhere right around here. Use nearest again. So I'm using nearest right here just to make it a lot easier. And I hit my enter key. At that point, I've got that in place. Okay, so that's how to make a contour line. I'll go ahead and make another one. The next one actually shows up a little bit below this one. So I'll go to the same thing. I'm going to go here and use repeat spline. And I'm going to use shift right mouse click and use nearest. Nearest is just the best one to use for this. It just works out beautifully. I'm going to pick a point somewhere right along here. Click and go boom, 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 and something like that. And my enter key like that. So I've got that. So this is how you put these in. And I'm not, just get them close to what I have on the sheet there. They don't have to be exact. What I'm trying to do here is just get you guys in the habit of understanding how these work. They don't necessarily be perfect. Now this one I'm going to do, again, shift right mouse click, nearest, and I'm going to go from here. I'm going to pick a point right around somewhere here. And this one's going to be the same kind of a thing. And this one kind of goes up here. And then shift right mouse click and nearest yet again. Go ahead and drop it here. Something like that. Oh, and I got out too quickly. So nearest and yeah. Okay, and that's how you do that. So that's how we go ahead and place these right here. Now, the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put in the elevation notations, which again is, you know, right here. If I went right here to see prop text, I could go here and go to this right here, and I'll go ahead and put this first one in right here at the corner. Just click here, and this one will be like this. It's going to be EL 158.25. EL 158.25 feet. Okay, that's what that is right there. So that one's right there. Now at this point, once you got one of these, you can just copy it around to the rest of them. So I could actually go here and just go ahead and use this and copy it to these different locations. So I've got it here. Okay, so I've got that right there. I guess we'll mark that one, so we won't worry about that. So this one, and then we'll go to this one. Okay, because that's what we're going to do. And this one's going to be 158.50. And this one will be 158.75. Like that. Okay, so you got that right there. So that is what you have happening. Okay, that's how that actually works right there. And so that. Okay, so I've got that. So this is how we go ahead and place this. And as I'm moving this along right here, you can see how that works. So this is how we go ahead and place these dimensions in there. Okay, and then this one I'll do the same thing. I get here. That top, I don't have dimensions on that one. This one probably ought to go away, actually. That one probably should go away because I don't have elevations on it. So I'm just going to delete that, get rid of that. That one can go away. Yeah, so don't worry about that one. Okay, so that, and so other than that, that's how you put those in there. To put in your your trees, you go here to L plant, right here, the LPLNT layer, and then I go here to get trees. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on here, and when I go ahead and pull this in here, I go ahead and if I can go ahead and I can drop this, I'll just go ahead and drop it like right around there. Now when I drop it, I can rotate it if I have it set up that way, and I go there. Oh, by the way, to get this open right here down here, that is what we would call the blocks palette. You can get this several different ways. You can go to view and then go over here and choose blocks, and that opens it up, or you can type the letter I. Type the letter I for insert, and it brings it up this way too. But you go ahead and you drop the block in there. So if you go ahead and drop a block in here, I'll drop another one. If you click on either of those blocks, you're going to notice that there is a little arrow next to it. So if I click that arrow, I can then go down here and I can pick what I want it to look like. So if I go pick type 2 evergreen, it looks like that. I think the one that I want is the type, no, I don't want that. I don't want an elevation. Evergreen, don't want that either. Which one do I want? Type 3 evergreen, something like that. Let's see, no, deciduous, no, I definitely want deciduous. Oh, is that not here? Oh, I might have the wrong one here. Yeah, those are okay. Yeah, I'm missing. Okay, if for this one right here, since that one's okay, there's a few different. Let me see if I can't get another one here. There should be another item on here. Let me look again. Oh, okay, there it is. Deciduous. That's what I want. Deciduous plant. Yeah, that's the one I want. Okay, so that's what you want right there. And then once you've got that, I'll pull it in again. So I click on this right here, and I hit the drop down. and I'll choose type 2 deciduous plan. Looks like that. And I can click on this and I can drag it around. Okay, so I've got that. That's how you place trees. You can go ahead and drop another one here. I click there and I click again on it, and it gives me this notation here, and I want to use deciduous type 2 deciduous plan, like that. And then that's how you go ahead and place those. And then you can just move those around with cool aplomb, like that. Okay, so now that you've got that, you've got those items, and you'll go ahead and finish the rest of it. Now, here's where we get into the interesting thing. I did something to make your life much easier. I'm going to go ahead and show you what that is. Over here, I actually am going to go to my layer 0, and I'm going to pull in the floor plan. Okay, over here is a floor plan, which is what we had done before. So I've got this here. I'm going to go ahead and drop it somewhere right around here. Then I'm going to go ahead and kind of spin it around a little bit like that. And then when that's in place, I'm going to click on it and hold my control key down and adjust it so that it kind of moves around here and gets it kind of into position here like this. And what you got there now is you actually have the floor plan. Kind of cool stuff. And that can basically rotate however you want it to. I just left it like that. And then we're just going to put in some lines for the driveway. You got C driveway. So go to C driveway. And I'm going to make a line just from the lower right corner here. Turn this on and go from here and go to there. On you, intersection right there. And then I'll do another one, repeat the line again. And this one would go somewhere right from here. And this one goes somewhere right along down here. I'll go ahead and pull a point on here if I can, using nearest. Like that. Okay, and that is how that works. So now this thing's starting to beef out nicely. It's got good information here. You've got that going on. And that is making sense. I think that's pretty much everything. Let's see here. And then the last thing you want to do is you want to put in your leaders. Okay, and the leaders are essentially notes. So if I go here, my leader is right here. You can go to here and choose your leader, and then I can go here and I can go ahead and click right over here, for instance. And I want to get some point right along here. I'm going to click it there. And then I'm going to type in 15-foot setback. 15-foot setback. Like that. That's 15-foot setback. Then we'll do another one. And this one's going to be a 10-foot setback. I'm going to go ahead and pick a point somewhere on here. Nearest. And then here's kind of a cool thing. If I click on this, I can actually go down here. If I right click, I can use add a leader right here. If I right click on it, I can actually draw another arrow right here, which would actually go down to this one right here. So that would be that. Now, once you got that, you can actually move the whole thing over to the side like I have it right there. It looks like that. 10-foot setback. And that gives you a good notation as far as how that goes. And I think that's pretty much everything right there. That is it. Now, and then you just continue populating this, and then it's just a great exercise for using your basic CAD skills. So that is what that is. And so that is all you're going to need to put this one together. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it in park, and I'm going to let you guys continue working on this. So that is all this one is right here. So again, this is the last of the CAD for construction AutoCAD assignments. This one's going to be doing the site plan. It's going to be essentially putting a site plan together, getting familiar with how you would actually put in some of these, basically these coordinates, so that AutoCAD will know how to draw this up using engineering surveying types of units. So that's what we have going on right here. So I'm just going to stop there. I'm going to stop the movie, and I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to pull this down here. And I'm going to stop the recording here, and I'll do that. I guess I can pause it. We might start.